I want you to.
Hi you guys, so it's your girl Hannah B, okay? And today's video is gonna be a video that was like somewhat requested but not requested, you know what I'm saying? So like it was kind of requested. So basically this is what had happened. This is about how I kind of quit my job. When I first moved to Atlanta, I was basically homeless for forever, but I knew that I wanted a job. I had to get a job. I had to make money. I had to eat. I started working like the next week almost. So I had a job and I was a hookah server, for those who do not know, and that's what I did literally from basically July until like May. For the longest, it was like my full-time job. I was trying to make it my full-time job. I would take up the most hours. I would, whoever called out, like I would, like, you know what I'm saying, put me in. Like I was very consistent. May have had some time issues here or there. Had some time issues here or there, you know, moved around a couple times. It was what it was. But I was almost working 7 days a week. At one point in time, I was my CEO, boss man, manager, whatever you want to call him. I was his like personal assistant. So that like that dramatically upped my pay to like from making like $200 a week to like making $700 a week. And of course, I would get paid on like Sunday, Monday, and I felt like by Tuesday all my money was gone. I would come to work, you know, make my hookah, make my change, depending on what location I worked at. I was getting tip tellers. It was to the point where like I had regulars, like all this type of stuff. So like me on my end, I was good, but on the other end, it wasn't 100% professional business, in my opinion. Being a hookah caterer was like his new passion in life, and this is what he wanted to do. I'm gonna say new passion, but this is what the man wanted to do. He wanted to do that, and he wanted to be a chill, laid back boss, but very professional at the same time. He very much was so very chill and laid back, but lacked professionalism when it came to interacting with his employees. I will give you a couple examples of what that was like. We had one girl, she was a great employee. She always worked. For the most part, she was always on time, never gave anybody any attitude, any problems. And our boss will figure it out as best you can before calling me type of person. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of person that he was. And so it was a lot of situations that we figured that shit out because we didn't have nobody there to help us figure it out. There was this one time that we had a guy that basically we used like the little chip reader or whatever from like Square, whatever, not Square Cash, but Squarespace. We had a chip reader, we had an iPad, all that good stuff. The chip reader, I guess the chip reader wasn't working or something like that. I really don't know the details of the situation, but the other employee had the guy's card, and she entered the card information, and it accepted the payment. He found out what happened and got like really upset because it was like, well, you should never enter the card's information into the computer. And at the restaurant that we worked at, literally if the card didn't swipe, they would just manually enter the information in. But he like straight up fired her. Like he let her work for a week, already knowing that like she was no longer employed, and then like cut her loose. Also, there was a bunch of changes in positions, basically. I started out as a personal assistant. He never let me know that I was no longer his personal assistant. He just kind of brought a new assistant in type shit. And then it went from that to, okay, well, you can be manager. And so I was manager. I would go to all the spots. I would do all the inventories. I would break down all the inventory. I would make the schedules, blah, 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 blah. And so, like, after a while, he would stop hitting me up to do that. And so I'm just kind of like, well, I'm pretty efficient. And now the girl that you have in my spot doing administrative work is telling everybody that I'm, like, you know, I'm not bad at what I'm doing. And so there would be plenty of times where he would leave us two together to figure this shit out. So he put his schedule together one time, and he has this really big thing about how new girls can't work by themselves. And I'm just kind of like, you will hire someone and have them in training for like 5 months, and then tell them that they're on the floor by themselves type shit. And so I'm like, the girls that we were putting by them, we had like 5 locations, and we only had like 2.5 girls basically. We didn't have that many people working. And so we were like, you know, like, this is how it's gonna have to work out. He got an attitude about all of that shit between me and that new girl that's the administrative assistant. And all that shit like went shot to shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he got super upset. We let him do the schedule that week, and then some bullshit happened. And the same schedule, the original schedule that me and the new assistant put together, literally was the schedule that ended up being used because. And the new girl had to work by herself, and she did a really good job. And like she ended up leaving the company and working for somebody else that gives her more money to make hookahs, basically. There wasn't any real communication or anything like that. So that was one of the issues that really kind of got to me. And he would say shit like, is this how you act, or is this how you treat your other bosses? And I'm just like, nigga, if I can't figure this shit out, I'm gonna send you to the next person who can. Like, it's called like forwarding a call, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how this works. Have you not ever been a boss before? Because I've been an employee before for shit that actually matters. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't never been fired. I just leave my jobs and find another job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't never been fired. I just quit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that should, like, say some shit, you know? But whatever. There was a restaurant. I pretty much earned my spot. I was, like, one of the longest working employees. I had, with the exception of one location, I was pretty much like requested to work in a lot of places, whether it was voiced to him or like voiced to me or voiced to some of the other girls. Like, I had a lot of managers and like restaurant owners, club owners, whatever, would come and be like, oh, we like you the best. Like, you're the best hookah girl we've had out of all the other hookah girls. Like, you do the best job. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want you. He ended up taking me off the schedule for a lot of places that legitimately were like, nah, like, we want to work with Hannah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that was like beef or like the beginning of beef, or if he was just being a hater. Like, I don't know what that was about, but he would take me off the schedule for like a lot of places that were legitimately like, nah, we would rather have Hannah. Like, there was one girl that like at closing, like as soon as her shift was over, because our shifts end, but some of the places stay open, especially if they're like clubs and stuff. We still have to stay and clean up, like, you know what I'm saying? We can't just leave. And so like she left with like without like checking customers out and like everything, and she still works for the company type shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, she just straight up left. She dipped, and she left hookah. She left the hookah area dirty. Like, she just left. We are gonna fast forward to the future. So I'm pretty much earned my spot. I'm working at one particular location. I'm pretty consistent there. I have a work family there. So I'm there with my work family, like all the DJs and stuff. Like, everybody was pretty much cool. We all had like arrangements and everything. Like, even one of the DJs was paying me to make him a hookah. We give out the hookahs for free to the DJ, but he was just like, when I was working with him, like, there was a bar and I worked at the bar. Like, that was my hookah station, and he would be next to me. He'd be like, oh dang, like, I don't never tip you. I tip everybody else, but I'll never tip you, and I'd be up here smoking your hookah all night, you know what I'm saying? And so once I got moved to a different location in the restaurant, he would just be like, just make me one, you know, and I'll give you whatever I got in my pocket for it. And at this location, we got tipped cash for the most part, or on the card, because we just kind of had it set up like that. Like, I was always coming home with like maybe $80 in tips. I started making regulars or whatever, and you know, like, everything was cool. So I ended up getting a new job. I started working at Hooters. You're shaking everything. Stop. I moved 20 minutes away from the city, and I started working at, like, literally the Hooters is, like, less than 10 minutes from where I'm staying at right now. And at first, I was working mostly morning shifts, and I worked maybe one night shift a week that was from in between the Thursday to Sunday range. And so, like, we had a meeting, and, like, in the meeting, and it was, like, a big meeting. It was just, like, you know, like, if you work another job, that's cool. Just let me, you don't have to work Fridays and Saturdays. They aren't mandatory, but we just need people to work Fridays and Saturdays, and you'll get like extra compensation if you work Friday and Saturday. And I'm like, cool, you know, that's what's up. After that day, I was just kind of like, I'm not really fucking with the vibe. I haven't said anything, but I have been contemplating quitting anyways. I hadn't said anything, but I was just basically like, you know what, I'm probably not gonna be here too much longer. You feel me? I'm working 3 days and I'm only getting paid $215. Sometimes not even $200. Sometimes like $100, $180, $190 in that range, and I can make that in one day at Hooters. Before I could even tell him anything about, like, you know what, it's just been a lot of drama lately, because it had been like a lot of drama. It'd been a lot of like inconsistency. It was very unprofessional at this point. The type of people that he was showing favoritism toward definitely acted and carried themselves a certain way that was not like you could just kind of tell, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't believe shit he said about loyalty anymore at this point, because he would always, you know, be like, these are my loyal ones and I'll never do y'all wrong or dirty. You know, like, this just kind of is what it is. It was always some shit like that. And I don't believe that anymore, because if that was what it was, you could have came to me and told me and talked to me about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still really don't know why. I feel like it's because I just worked too much at my other job and I was making more money, but I still like gave you days of the week. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had more trouble trying to find girls to work in the middle of the week because everybody had like real corporate jobs, and you did have girls to work on the weekend. So I'm giving you literally what you need. Like, you complained to me about something and I provided a solution for you. And it was just crazy and all over the place. And so finally we had like these couple of group chats, and he asked for availability, and like within 2 seconds of asking for availability, the schedule was already up. I didn't have a chance to reply, and I was like, damn, like, I'm not on the schedule. This is how you really feeling? That's cool. So I just left all the group chats and I blocked him. So it kind of sounds more like he wasn't fucking with me than I wasn't fucking with him, but I think we just realized that we weren't fucking with each other at the same time. The hookahs that I smoke now, in all honesty, they're cheaper, for one, because we overpriced the fuck out of our hookahs and then overpriced the fuck out of all of our add-ons. But like, the hookahs that I smoke now are like way cheaper, but they're kind of like better. If you have any questions about me being a hookah server, or what consists of being a hookah server here in Atlanta, or period, if you're interested in like doing that, like, it's not hard. It's quick, easy money. Every place has hookah down here. Everybody's always looking for somebody to work. If you are in the Atlanta area, I can definitely answer them for you. Like I said, rate, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all of my social medias at Hannah Burnell W. If it's spelled any other way, it is not me. No spaces, no underscores, no periods, none of that. Just Hannah Burnell W, all put together. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I do post another video, since YouTube has its own thing that it's doing right now with not notifying people. And yeah, like, that's it. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.